Welcome, everybody, to Dead Talk Live. I'm your host, Viz, and today we are joined by several of the writers and directors of and short film creators in the feature film Dead Talk Tales Volume 1, which premiered last Friday, July 26th on Amazon Prime Video, Apple TV, and Google TV. Our guests include Josh M. Logan from the short film Relic, Dwight Mathis from Bliss, Benson Powers for his short film titled Nightcap. Full disclosure here, guys, Dead Talk Tales Volume 1 is one of our own productions and distributions from Dead Talk Media, so I definitely have some bias towards this film. So, all that aside, let's get talking about some of these great films. Guys, I want to thank you so much for joining us and on here, and congratulations on these amazing films that you have put together that we get to enjoy. I want to go around the room quickly, get your takes with the film now being released and that your shorts have been integrated into an anthology horror film. What are your thoughts? What are your feelings? Let's start with Corey.
Uh, I mean, it's an absolute thrill to have it put together in an anthology with so many other great horror shorts. Because I mean, they're beyond maybe the festival circuit or then putting it out on YouTube. Is there isn't really a great avenue for shorts in general. And um, personally, as a fan of horror films, is like I enjoy other anthologies as well. And so to have a film that I created be part of a feature length film that's an anthology of horror shorts is it's an honor and really exciting that now it's out there in the world.
And when I contacted each and every one of you, that was really my pitch to you, that there's no real great medium for shorts to get out to the big general public. So I've been
hmm
trying for a long time to figure out how to get these shorts seen. There's so many great ones out there by the mainstream public, people that stream Prime Video, Apple TV. So I'm like, why not put them together in an anthology feature film? That's what we did. We all took a leap of faith, and I'm so glad in the work that we accomplished. White, what were your thoughts?
Um, it was a little, at first I was kind of like, who is this who's this John guy? And what's he want with my film?
Yeah.
Uh, and the more I kind of like, looked into what you did and saw just the trail of incredible projects that you're working on and the podcasts and the interviews that you've conducted, I was like, okay, this could be really, really cool. And then I had to like, take a gander at your email again and looked it over and realized that this was a huge opportunity for us to be seen by so many people. And obviously, I had no idea what the other short films looked like or the stories that would coincide with Bliss. But when I finally watched the screener, I was like, okay, I'm in a lineup of some incredible talent, and then it just made me feel that much better. Like we had no idea where Bliss was gonna go.
Uh,
It was just a cool idea we had, and we were like, we gotta make this thing, and we had no preconceived notions of it going to streaming. We just knew it was gonna live on YouTube, and that was about it. So for you to give us this opportunity, man, I am truly grateful. It's really, really cool.
and I tell you, when I was thinking of how to approach you guys, I'm like, oh my God, I am like the most skeptical person I know. And I know if I got approached with the same way I was going to be approach you guys, I'm like, there's no way I'm going to buy this. I'm going to think it's a scam. So I'm, like I said, I'm so grateful you guys took that leap of faith. For Josh, you're the creator of the Relic. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, after the thing that I love about anthology shorts for shorts is that it kind of gives you the same experience as going to a film festival because, when you go to a festival, you see short films lined up in a block. And so it's like, it gives you a 2 hour kind of block of seeing these short films. And it's really the only format that you get to see them. You only really get to see shorts at short film festivals in America. So around the world, short films are very viable media, like, because so many different countries, especially in Europe, have public television stations, and so instead of putting commercials in between their feature products, they will populate it with short films. So short films are hugely popular in Europe, and why not? Like they're really their own special media. It requires its own special kind of storytelling, and just because a movie isn't 30 minutes long or 90 minutes long, it doesn't fit into these boxes here. So any exposure that we get to have to short films, which is, like I said, it's really its own art form, is really great because, and with the internet being prevalent and being able to stream things regularly, bringing more attention to this kind of media, I think is really, really great. So, being able to watch this as an anthology, I felt like I was sitting down at a film festival to watch a block of genre shorts, and it was really, really fun. So thank you so much for putting this together and bringing us all together, and we all get to meet each other too, which is really, kind of my favorite part of film festivals is meeting other filmmakers that are kind of like-minded, that enjoy making stuff like this for people to see. So thanks so much for bringing this together. It's really cool.
And what a lot of people don't know is like main platform, Prime, and Apple TV, they will not accept anything like under 30 minutes. And for order for something to even be monetized, it has to be a minimum of 15 minutes. So some people might be asking, well, why not take a short? And why isn't there a person just putting shorts on Prime or Apple TV just on their own? You can't. Not allowed. It's against their rules because it doesn't make money for them. And whatever doesn't make money for them, they're not going to do. Now, Josh, before we get into the Relic, we have to mention a very tragic event. As we were getting ready for distribution, May 25th, the actor Johnny was tragically murdered in Los Angeles, senselessly during a car robbery. How did you first hear the news, and what was your...
Honestly, I saw it in the trades. I was at a friend of mine's, it was around the 4th of July, and I was at a friend's hanging out, and I was just like checking my email, and I see a deadline, news alert pop up that Johnny Wachter murdered. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, I've known Johnny for so long. Like, I was in a directing program for a long time with him as an actor. We did countless scenes together, countless work together. And I mean, really just one of the most magnificent human beings and one of the finest actors I've ever worked with. And to like get notified that my friend died over email was just absolutely shocking. And I'm still, there's truly a hole in my heart that this happened with this guy. And I'm so happy that like people, I mean, Johnny was an incredibly well-liked person, and there's an entire group of people in LA that have been continuing to post and bring messages to, and even march downtown to try and get the mayor to get a handle on the crime that's been happening in downtown Los Angeles. These catalytic converter thefts, I mean, resulting in murders, and for like $150, like that's all these guys are getting off that stuff. So,
it's ridiculous, so senseless, and it wasn't like back page news either. This story.
No.
His death made front page news for many weeks.
Yeah.
Because it was so hard to fathom just the nature of how it unfolded. So our condolences go to his friends and his family, this horrible event. Now let's talk about Johnny, his role in the... It's such a fascinating film. This film starts at 100 miles per hour, and it never lets its foot off the gas. You wrote this script. This was your baby, your idea. How did this idea come together for you?
Well, I mean, I've been working in movies a really long time, and I'd made some short films before this one, and I really wanted to make something that was like a straight up monster movie. Everything I'd done before had been kind of more like horror comedy or even just straight comedy, and but I mean, my love has been horror. I mean, since I was 8 years old.
Yeah.
So I really wanted to make a monster movie, and I wanted to make something that I thought would be really fun. And after having gone through the festival circuit with Lunch Ladies, I wanted to design a monster movie specifically for short film festivals. And so I took all the things that I learned from Lunch Ladies and built them into this monster story. And cosmic horror has also been like my favorite genre for a long time. I love the idea that we are just this tiny little, like, spark of humanities floating in the vast infinite universe that really means nothing to anything, and there's so little that we really understand about how everything works in the universe, beyond our comprehension. And so, obviously the works of Lovecraft were very inspirational, as well as Robert Chambers and a bunch of the like Victorian horror writers of the end of the 19th century. And so I just kind of decided to fold that all into something that I thought would fit into, a 12 to 14 minute time slot, and would keep people really interested, and would just kind of leave them at the end just going like, I don't know what just happened, but it was fun.
It was.
So I really kind of built it as like an anti-feature, because you can't really take all those ideas and leave, the whole film is an exercise in asking questions, and having those questions being unanswered being as entertaining as having everything, coming together into a single block. So that was really the goal, is just to, make something that would throw people off from the very second they started watching it, and at the end not have any idea what happened, but then leaving room for them to insert their own creativity. And that's really been the most fun part for me with the Relic, is hearing other people talk about what they think happened after they watched the movie.
Yeah.
And it inspired so many just super creative, interesting conversations that were way better than anything I would have ever come up with. And I just, I loved hearing people, kind of insert their own ideas about how things were related to each other, what the key meant, or what all those other pieces, meant to them. And this, and I think for me, especially with short films, if you can launch people off on their own creative journey from the point that your movie ends, that's the most satisfying thing I can imagine as a filmmaker.
Exactly. And that brings us to Corey's film Nightcap, because this is a film that is so full of mystery and has people guessing in every direction possible what is going on here between this man and woman. Now, when you were writing this story, was it your intention to sort of do what Josh just said and leave it up to the viewer's imagination? Or did you have something in mind what this thing, we're not going to give away any spoilers, what this thing in the room really is?
Yeah, it's funny listening to Josh talk, because I'm like, this is a lot of what my answer to this question would be, because I feel like in some ways in my film I'm even more ambiguous than Josh is, and like, leaving so many things open up to, questioning it afterwards of what's truly going on. I mean, to like answer your question is, me personally, I know what's behind the door, but I'm not gonna tell anyone. It's like it's intentionally ambiguous and left to like question. Is like try to drop hints to like what it could be throughout the film, but it's the idea started off with just simply I woke up one morning with the idea of the phone underneath the door gag. Like that part of the film is what I first came up with, and then I kind of backwards constructed it based off of that, and then it started off as like an idea of like build an exercise in building suspense, and similarly to Josh, is like I love cosmic horror as well, and I love movies that don't answer all the questions at the end and leave you thinking and discussing afterwards. And so that, with that in mind, is like that kind of led me down the path of like the story that I wanted to tell in Nightcap.
Now, the sequence of events with Kira's fascination with what's behind that door in that room, the way you shot that scene, you put us all into Kira's shoes. And we are sharing her curiosity. just as much as she is. And that the way you shot when she sticks the phone, takes the picture, and she sticks the phone under the door, and the phone comes back to her. You drew us to being right there, either in Kira's shoes or right there next to her. How difficult was that to shoot, and what was some of the techniques that you used, lighting, whatever, that you used to bring the viewer into the room with you, with everybody else?
Well, I think that from the start in it, with the setup of like immediately with the character of Jeffrey saying, don't open that door, immediately, like, not only her curiosity but us, like, she's like kind of like our like avatar as the, our person, our liaison from the audience, that her curiosity is our curiosity. It's like, obviously there's something beyond there that he doesn't want her to know about. And so, that's the hook from the beginning. And then in shooting that actual sequence is, it was like setting up that, we're kind of drawing closer and closer in, as far as like, we're starting off like wider, and then gradually things are getting tighter until, the moment happens. So I was trying to just have it be a gradually developing sequence, as far as that, of like drawing in, of being like, especially because there is, well, I'm trying not to reveal too much, but like a bit of misdirection of like with her like looking under it, to be like, oh, there's, whatever, there's nothing like happening. And so like creating a false sense of security so that there is, you can catch people off guard, is kind of the way I was looking to approach it.
And you're right, there is misdirection where the audience might be expecting the scream to get smart. You know what I mean? At least that's the effect. Now, Dwight, Bliss is this fascinating tale of the rapture with this intense horror element, bloody horror element. What made you want to mix in the bloody horror with sort of the biblical rapture that a lot of people tell us how that can be?
Yeah, it's kind of a mixture of, growing up in the church when I was younger, and learning about Revelations, and really getting like sucked into that whole world as a kid. As I kind of got older and developed my own, sense of belief and, the universe and things outside of the church, I started to kind of like, become a rebel a little bit in that sense. And so when I first came up with the idea, I was literally scrolling through Facebook Reels, and there was one particular video. I think it was just an ad, but it wouldn't play among the sea of other videos that would play. So so that kind of like sparked the idea. I was like, how come it's not playing? What if there was a video that only certain people could actually play? And so that's where the idea started to brew. And yeah, so I wanted to mix just a bit of horror and bloodiness towards the and I don't want to give away where it's at, but just mix it in there to really kind of like shock the viewers, because you're thinking that, okay, this there's a certain person that's chosen, and it feels very biblical, feels very kind of like dark with a sense of light in there, but then the blood just kind of just like comes out of nowhere. And I just wanted that. And in a lot of my other like smaller short films, I take a normal situation and then I just give it just this crazy twist at the end. And so I wanted to carry that along with a longer format film like Bliss.
And you did that with this film, because I had to watch at least several times. Like, wait, did what happened and what I thought happened really happened, and you did it with that ending that really shocked me, surprised me. Bliss, by far, out of all the short films, has the largest cast. You brought in a lot of people to make this film. What made you decide on having such a large cast? Did you need the large cast to make the story work the way you wanted it to work?
At first it wasn't that many cast members in the original script. I kind of started adding people in there as we went on, because I had friends and family kind of get interested in the project, and I was like, hey, well,
And
you
you
want to like
also have a little cameo in it as well.
I have a little cameo, so I play the waiter,
Yeah.
and my soon-to-be brother-in-law, he's the boss that comes out and says like, like, rustle up some hustle, buddy, get in there. He's like, God damn it! So I wanted to throw in just like, a few family members and friends in there, just so that they can get like a little bit of shine on screen. But originally, it was just the four main cast members, and then Mariana, who plays the Herald. But then as we kind of like, kept adding to the story, that's when we kept adding to the cast, like the news anchors and young Gabe as well. He kind of came in towards the end, so
And I'm
it was one of the
sure they did not
yeah.
expect to end up on Prime Video, Apple TV, and
None of us did. Yeah, none of us did, man. It was one of those. Yeah.
So, Josh, going back to you, the Relic, is this a story that you are interested in expanding on? If someone approached you, somebody who sees the movie as part of Dead Talk Tales, watches this short story and approaches you and says, Josh, you can turn this into a feature film. What are your feelings about it?
Oh yeah, I've got a lot. Since I finished the short, I've been developing the Relic as a kind of universe, and the idea is to create a series of feature films that are related not necessarily by characters or monsters specifically, but by mythology.
Yeah.
Because cosmic horror can happen anywhere, and so taking the idea of the Relic, which is based on an object that is some kind of archaeological find, an artifact from history that has some kind of cosmic properties to it, that essentially people find it and it creates some kind of gateway between the world that we understand as the human world and the expansiveness of the cosmic galaxy universe around us. So, cosmic horror can happen anywhere, it can happen anytime. So as long as we've got an object to relate to, and that creates the gateway between these universes, then whatever comes through that gateway will affect us as humans. Whether or not whatever's coming through has any idea that we exist or that we matter at all doesn't even matter. But what matters is how it affects us as humans and how it affects our protagonists. Mm-hmm. So I just finished shooting a feature film called The Relic Dragon, which is the first feature in the series of the Relic features. And I've got 5 other stories behind it. Some of which are kind of related directly to the short film, and some of which are just kind of off on their own tangent. But ultimately developing it as a way for everything to be related together, and possibly coming together into something interesting at the end.
That sounds very exciting. Corey, the character of Jeffrey, Nightcap, how do you see Jeff? You were creating him. Is he sort of like a caretaker who provides something for a known entity? That's how a little bit I saw him. How do you see Jeffrey when you were creating him?
Yeah, while not getting too much into the particulars, you're on the right path. Okay. with how I viewed him as well, is that caretaker is a great way to put it, that there is this other entity that he like looks after, does its bidding. So you're on the right path with that while trying to keep it ambiguous.
And he's also, not the name of the actor who played him, but the actor did a great job in without saying words, but through his facial expressions, conveying to us that he's not really happy with the situation he's in. He's not really happy with what he's doing, even though some of the people are doing this voluntarily. Is that how you wanted the character to portray?
Yeah, Tyler Meyer is who played Jeffrey, and he did an excellent job, because it, with the things that you're outlining, is I wanted to say as as much as I could without it being verbalized, that it's all in the performance and in his facial expressions and reactions that I wanted to again to be less about what he says and more about how he is. And and watching him and the new, like, Tyler did an amazing job of like the nuanced performance of like, my goal was that every time I see him is just like the expression on his face is supposed to tell you way more than the words that are coming out of his mouth there. So it excites me to hear that feedback, that's what was taken away, because that's what was supposed to be intimated from him, was more the subtext of how he is acting and how he's emoting versus just the simple kind of banter that they're having back and forth in the beginning. It's all about the performance rather than like dialogue, as far as like who he is.
Gotcha. Dwight, when you wrote Bliss, did you have the whole story mapped out before you even started writing, or did the story sort of come together after you started
writing? A mixture of both. I had the outline first, and then I wrote the script based on that. Young Gabe's that whole flashback was definitely in the original outline, and we had no idea we're gonna get Neum Sakdev to play young Gabe, so we didn't have that part casted, but we just started shooting anyway, with the thoughts of let's just film the whole script. If we can't get anyone to play young Gabe, then we'll just cut that scene. And then halfway through production, we landed Neum, and so me and the crew, we flew out to Dallas and shot in his house, in his bedroom, and got that. And so that for us really did complete the whole film and completed the story. So we're really happy with that. That was the only situation within the script that we outlined, shot, and then it just landed in our laps later. So that was a win for us.
That's definitely something. I want to thank you guys so much. And Dead Talk, this is going to be a friend. Next year, I'm going to be releasing Volume 2. Again, the purpose is to give more exposure to short films. Gotta say, it's been a week. The movie got released today, and I see the numbers, some of the early numbers, and look very good and that people are enjoying this format given. So I definitely want to continue this. It's been an absolute honor. There's 7 stories, guys. Not just 3, there's 7 stories. We're going to bring on the other 4 directors in a couple of weeks. It was just a scheduling issue. We couldn't get everybody on today. We're going to bring on the remaining 4 directors to talk about their stories here by no later than the end. So stay tuned for that. It's been an honor meeting you guys. Thank you so much for participating in the film. Again, the film is called Dead Talk Tales Volume 1. Now streaming on Prime Video, Apple TV, and Google TV, formerly known as Google Play Movies. Check it out. It's a horror anthology, full feature film. It has some amazing, scary stories. Check it out. I want to thank our guests again on behalf of Corey, Josh, and Dwight. Stay safe. Stay walking. Bye, everybody.
See ya.